Hello guys, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. So with regards to this particular post, I got this off of Slate.com's Dear Prudence blog, which is essentially Slate's advice column where readers will send in their questions about relationships at home, work, or beyond, and Prudy will respond to them and give them advice. It's a lot like the Ask Allison post that I did before. Essentially just an advice column. Off the bat, I just wanted to say that this is a short one, but boy is it intense. Like, how on earth are there people like this in this world? Oh my goodness. Anyhow, I do hope that you enjoy the story. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Now on to the story. Dear Prudence, my mother-in-law hates me and makes no bones about it when she and I are alone. My husband doesn't believe me, and she even gloats about that. We have to attend family functions at home once a month. It used to be more frequent, but after I put my foot down, my husband agreed that monthly would be sufficient. The problem is that after each visit, I wind up with a bad case of diarrhea. My husband doesn't. I don't know if the other in-laws are affected, because if I asked, it would get back to her. I suspect that my mother-in-law is putting something in my food or drink. Last time, I barely made it home before being struck down. Now I'm considering getting some quote-unquote adult undergarments to make sure that I don't ruin the car's upholstery on the ride home from her place. Do you have any other advice? Sincerely, Running for the Hills. Dear Running, in the great old Cary Grant movie, Suspicion, director Alfred Hitchcock has a scene in which possible murderer Grant is bringing a glass of milk to his wife, played by John Fontaine, and no beverage has ever looked so malign. Just as Fontaine wasn't sure if she was being poisoned, you aren't either. It's possible that you've entered a Pavlovian cycle, in which, when you eat your mother-in-law's food, your digestive tract automatically goes into overdrive, or that there's some ingredient that she regularly uses which just doesn't agree with you. It's also possible that she's trying to harm you. I've been reading a fascinating book called The Poisoner's Handbook about poisoners in the early 20th century. It was a popular way to off someone back then, and the new forensic scientists who have exposed them. Peek at your mother-in-law's Kindle to see if she's downloaded this. The next time you go for dinner at her house, after the food is served, but before you begin eating, you and your husband should agree to swap plates and cups. If your mother-in-law screams to her son, "Don't eat that," case closed, Sherlock. Of course, this would require your husband to take your concerns seriously. It's alarming to think that your mother-in-law might be deliberately sickening you. Equally distressing is the fact that your husband doesn't believe you when you describe her malicious behaviors. You need to tell your husband that after being repeatedly ill at your mother-in-law's house, you have become afraid for your health. Tell him that you're also afraid for your marriage because he apparently believes you are a liar, which you are not when it comes to his mother. Say that he needs to take seriously the fact that she says ugly things when you and she are alone, and that you're not going to stand for it anymore. If that doesn't result in his attention and concern, then you may need to move to your mother's. Sincerely, Prudy. Dear Prudence, a couple of months ago, you answered my letter asking for advice regarding a situation involving a hateful mother-in-law whom I suspected of tainting my food and drink at the family functions at her home. You had suggested swapping plates with my husband to see if my mother-in-law would react. However, as you noted, that would have required bringing my husband into my confidence. I did not feel it was wise to do that because he already didn't believe that his mother treated me badly. But the next function was Easter. She provided a traditional prime rib dinner set up buffet style, and I could see no way that that could be problematic. However, when we arrived at her home, The dinner table was set with place cards, and in front of each was a ramekin of horseradish sauce and a small pitcher of oat juice. When nobody was looking, I switched the ramekin and the pitcher between my husband's place and mine. After my husband and I returned home, he became wrecked with diarrhea. But I wasn't ill at all. In the morning, I told him that I had switched the horseradish and the oat juice. He just looked at me with such hatred in his eyes that I knew that he had known all along what his mother was up to. His only words were to accuse me of poisoning him. I quickly packed my bags a couple of days ago and raced out of there. I've hired a divorce lawyer and I won't be looking back. Thank you and your commenters for your advice and concern. Sincerely, alive to tell a story. Dear Alive, I so appreciate your giving us this chilling, stomach-turning update. Thank goodness you got out of there before your mother-in-law's condiments turned lethal. When you confer with your divorce attorney, do ask about the possibility of criminal charges. And readers, on this coming Mother's Day, if your mother thinks you're beautiful just the way you are, and your mother-in-law is not trying to kill you, happily gift a glass of unpoisoned champagne and celebrate the women in your life. Sincerely, Prudy. So guys, what did you think about this? Was this not crazy? Like honestly, the mother-in-law was insane. And also, what the hell? The family dynamics of this place was like horrible. Like, did the husband actually know, or was this just something that she was inferring? But also, even if he didn't know, what kind of response is that to accuse your partner of trying to poison you? What? She was just trying to prove whether somebody was trying to literally kill her. Insane. Oh my goodness. And also, the sheer amount of gaslighting that's going on here is insane. Anyhow, I would honestly love to hear what you guys think about it. Please leave it in the comments down below. Please give it a like if you like the story, and please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.